mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to infiltrate the dastardly evil Drew's computer to retrieve his top secret documentation. That could change society as we now know it. Any method is permitted. As always, should you or any of your force be caught or killed, the Secretariat will disavow any knowledge of your actions. This message will start in 5 seconds.
Mission accepted.
Now, who was Drew? Well, I knew 2 things about him. For one, he kept his information on a server, not his own computer. Something to do with a domain. I would have to figure it out myself. And 2, he was up to no good.
Dangerously good.
So we're going to be trying a number of attacks on Drew's system here. We know we're on the same network as it, but we don't know his IP or his domain controller. So the first tool we're going to be using here is one of my personal favorites, EtterCap. This is a great tool for both investigation and for offense. We're going to start off with a unified sniffing on our main Ethernet interface and doing a scan for hosts. This is a great tool for finding some more information about the network and who's on it. But right now, we're going to be setting off a DOS attack. We're going to be targeting the default gateway. We know that this is acting as the DHCP server on this network. So we're able to spam it out a little bit, which hopefully should slow down its ability to hand out IP addresses. Next, we're going to be using a couple different SMB attacks from the plugins in EtterCap. Hopefully this softens up our attempt for later and makes SMB a little bit easier to deal with and potentially lower authentication. From here, we're going to be going into and setting up our own man-in-the-middle attack for DHCP spoofing, trying to set ourselves as the primary DHCP server. By looking up our own IP address, we're able to actually set ourselves as the DNS server. We have a couple different redirects in here to help point towards any other IPs and bounce them through us. So next, we're going to be starting up Drew's computer as if he was starting it up himself and seeing how everything behaves. If we were to take a look at his domain controller, we can see that it's a little bit higher security than his Windows XP machine. While we could probably easily crack a Windows XP machine, Server 2008 is a little bit more hardened and a bit more difficult. On top of that, the files aren't stored on his XP, they're stored on a file server here on this 2008 client. So we're going to have to find a way to actually access them, and that's beyond accessing just a standard XP machine. Now Drew would be signing in with his administrator account as most people would, entering in his password and logging in as if nothing was out of the ordinary. His system is working totally normally. However, we're going to hop back to our Kali Linux and see if anything is different about this login attempt. Now if we take a peek, we can see that we actually have a DHCP successful attempt, including setting our DNS as their DNS. Now this is curious. We're going to take a look on Drew's system and see how things have turned out. But first, we're going to start off our Responder agent. Responder is great for intercepting data, particularly SMB authentication information. By setting it onto our main interface and pointing it towards a domain controller, we're able to start listening for information. With that up and go, let's take a look back at Drew's system and see how he behaves to go access his file. By using a normal run command, he's going to be trying to access his share. However, in this case, he made a spelling mistake, so he's going to try again. And this time, he gets it correct. He connects to his share, he opens up his information. A little bit of a delay here, but nothing that a user would find weird. Goes into his documents, and there it is. His file hidden on his server, only accessible there. However, if we hop back to Kali, we can see that we have some new information here. Hashes to the administrator account that were captured, including domain name information and others. This is going to be useful, and we can see a lot of it was in part due to that misspelled name. It sent that DNS request straight to us. Now we're going to take this hash out of here. We're going to just copy it into a regular little notepad document here in LeafPad. And just for simplicity's sake, we're going to save it to the root of our system. This way it'll be easier to find with John the Ripper, our hash cracking tool. Now that we're saved, we're going to hop back in the command line here and play with the new tool. John the Ripper is a pretty powerful tool. It's known for its ability to crack Windows passwords and everything related to so. As we can see, it did it that quickly. We're going to use it with the show all command so that it just plain text shows us the password. Of course, password 1. How could I have not guessed? Probably would have been easier another way. But John the Ripper did the trick anyhow. Next up, time to break into that SMB share. The SMB share can be accessed by any device pretty easily. We're going to be using our Windows host here. Simply, all we need to do is put in the domain name of the device and connect using different credentials. We're going to use that new administrator account that we found. Punch in its passwords. That didn't seem to work. Let's use the browse command. And now we actually do see something. We know it was in a documents folder, so we're going to pull that out here. Again, we're queried for that username and password. We're going to punch it in. Bingo. It worked. There's our file. Now let's see what's inside. Not quite what I expected, but there had to be something within this. Why else would they have sent me after this information? I'm gonna have to find out for myself. 45 cups of what? Now, what could have me and Drew done differently? There's a couple things. Drew, for one, could be using a more modern operating system. Windows XP in any environment is just not acceptable anymore. Server 2008 could definitely use an improvement, at least 2012 nowadays, something with software updates and security. Windows XP forces a lower version of SMB, one that's easily crackable nowadays. So by moving to something a little bit more modern, it would have given me a lot more hassle in trying to capture that hash and break it. It might have been doable, but a lot more difficult. As for me, I probably could have used a different attempt. We probably could have tried something such as social engineering, or a different type of attack, either targeting a system being a weak XP machine, or something thereof.